Welcome to the 8th video in the composition series, Glass Half Full. Here's a look at the main melody, which is looped over the whole duration except for the outro. And for this one, it was actually programmed using the Endless sequencer. You can see here, you can pitch shift the original using that sequencer. And you can also play around with the rhythm. Here's straight eighth notes. And I like the eighth note triplets, but you can speed it up even with 16th notes and 16th note triplets. If you really want to go crazy, you can go 32nd notes and even 32nd note triplets. But I thought 8th note triplets sounded very nice. And it's funny, it'll start to play whatever preset you select, so you have to remember to turn the sequencer off if you want to play back in the synth mode. So for this one, it was the Celestra preset, which has that nice extended delay. I'm sorry, extended reverb. Here's the attack, sustain, release, and the reverb, the mother reverb turned up very high, and that's the LFO, the low frequency oscillator settings. And then the chords are just A major and F minor with a little melody over it. And we'll switch over to the drums, which I use the knockout for. I didn't want the drums to sound too programmed in this case because we already had that endless sequencer playing on the melody. So I did a live, in the knockout terms, the free recording mode. And you can notice there's notes in between the main beats, the main divisions. So the knockout has its own resolution. So for a quarter note, you can divide that into 96 different increments. So if you were to count one E and A, that would be 24. So in the triplet case, it's really groups of essentially 32. So for example, when the display has the dot and the number, you can see how far you are in reference to the main beats. For example, here it's 50. So in this case, if you're counting triplets, that's in the E part. And you can either go a little bit ahead or a little bit below in between the beats. And I wrote out each measure just for really my own knowledge, but you can see that sometimes it's a little rushed and sometimes it's a little delayed. But that makes it feel less mechanical. And I recorded that into the OP1 field using that amp sim. Thank you very much for watching this video, and stay tuned for the next one.